English learners. Welcome to Speak Unstoppable, your cozy corner to practice English while exploring your own life. I'm Maria.
And I'm John. Hello, everyone. Before we dive into anything serious, let's play a tiny game together. Just a small, simple one.
Ooh, a game already? I love games. What do we do?
All right. Think about your life so far in 2026. On a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate it? But here's the twist. You cannot pick 7.
Every time you say that. Why no 7?
7 is the neutral number. It means, I'm okay, leave me alone. Not great, not terrible. No more questions about it.
Ah, the classic safe zone. So, everyone listening, pick your number from 1 to 10, but skip 7. Really feel it.
Okay, Maria, what's your number?
I'd say a 6. My days are decent, comfortable, but I feel like I could push myself further. If I keep doing the same things, I'll look back at December wishing I had taken more chances.
Brave. I'd go 5.5.
5.5. That's precise. Why that?
I'm doing some things right, yes, but I also notice I'm holding back in many areas. Not terrible, not perfect, somewhere in between. Like I haven't fully told my own story yet.
That honesty is refreshing. And maybe some of our listeners just felt their number pop into their head. Could be 4, maybe 6, perhaps 8, and suddenly you notice, am I really living or just surviving?
Exactly. And when you can't hide behind 7, you see things more clearly. You notice the quiet spaces where you settle for okay instead of aiming for more.
And that's what we want to explore today. Not to judge any number, but to ask a quiet question behind it.
Yes, if nothing changed for the rest of 2026 and December comes with the same score you picked, would you feel proud or just relieved it's over?
That's a tough one. Many people answer no silently, but their daily habits keep saying yes. It's subtle, almost invisible.
If that resonates, you're in the right place. We're still at the beginning of 2026. Life is happening now. But the story isn't done. Not yet.
And that's why this episode is called Your 2026 Comeback. Not a perfect new year, new me fantasy, but real steps to shift your life from where you are today.
We'll talk about risk-taking, stepping out of your comfort zone, falling, hitting lows, drifting, and slowly finding your way up again.
And those tiny, everyday choices that seem small, but quietly define your number on that 1 to 10 scale.
Yes, and we'll do all of this in clear, approachable English. B2 to early C1 level. Some parts will stretch your brain a bit, but you'll get it. Listen again if needed. You'll catch something new each time.
Maybe you're on the bus, at your desk, washing dishes, or lying in bed scrolling, thinking, I don't want another repeat year. If so, this episode is for you.
And before we start, one tiny request. If you enjoy this conversation, like this episode, subscribe to Speak Unstoppable, and maybe share it with a friend who needs their 2026 comeback too.
Every like, share, and comment helps other learners find this calm space, showing YouTube this content matters.
And we love reading your comments. So here's a little activity. In the comments, write 2 things. First, your number from 1 to 10 for 2026 so far. Second, give a short movie title for your last 2 months.
For example, I'm a 5. Movie title, Finding My Spark. Or, I'm an 8. Movie title, Quiet Progress. Honest, funny, or serious, all welcome. Cool.
Later, we'll explore a calm word tour with 10 words and expressions from today's episode. We'll explain each slowly so you can really make them your own.
And remember, when these words come up naturally in conversation, one of us will pause and explain in simple language so you don't feel lost. Words like New Year energy, old habits, big dreams, old fears, and that quiet part of you that still believes change is possible.
Let's start by asking why staying too safe can be more dangerous than failing, and how this shapes your 2026 comeback.
That's the spark. Let's dive in and explore your year so far, where you drifted, where you're brave, and where the real comeback begins. Let's begin with something honest. John, most people aren't stuck because life is too chaotic. They're stuck because life is just a little too easy.
You mean that soft, slow kind of life that isn't exciting but also isn't terrible? Where you just float along?
Exactly. Comfortable enough to survive, but not uncomfortable enough to grow. That's the trap.
Comfortable enough to survive, but not to grow. I like that. Comfortable can feel safe, but maybe that's where complacency sneaks in.
Complacency is subtle. You wake up, do your routine, check the boxes, and wonder why nothing feels bigger than yesterday.
And maybe that's why people feel like they're in a fog. Your job is okay, your English is okay, relationships are okay. There's nothing wrong, but nothing sparks.
Nothing sparks. I like that. Low energy life. It's like your motivation is always on low battery.
And the funny part is, nobody plans that life. No one sets out saying, I want a quiet, gray life that doesn't challenge me.
You just drift into it. Little decisions pile up. Skipping practice today, postponing that project, ignoring the conversation you need to have. Then suddenly, months slip by.
And the calendar flips. 2026 stares back at you, and you realize you're living like it's still 2023.
And that realization can feel heavy. But you're not alone. Almost everyone drifts at some point. The question is, do you notice it before it's too late?
So, the first step out of complacency is recognizing the truth. You are going to face failure, not sometimes, all the time.
Thank you, Joun, for that bright start. Failure is inevitable. And that's actually good news.
Good news? You mean the kind that makes you uncomfortable just hearing it?
Exactly. Expecting failure helps you survive it emotionally. When it hits, you don't collapse. You adjust. You learn.
It's the reaction that matters. The failure itself is just information. What we tell ourselves about it determines whether it hurts or helps.
Think of last year. You promised yourself daily English practice. Maybe you fell short. That's okay. Fall short means you didn't reach the goal. That's different from being broken.
Right. Fall short means close, or maybe not even close. But devastation comes when you interpret it as, I am not enough.
Devastation is heavy. Your brain can spiral into, I'll never change. Why bother? That's the dangerous place, where failure turns into a story we tell ourselves.
So knowing failure will happen lets you plan. You can decide in advance how you'll respond. That's the power, anticipating weakness instead of being surprised by it.
Which brings us to the next part. Dreams aren't enough. They're inspiring, but without structure, they float like clouds. Beautiful, but ungrounded.
Dreaming about the new you doesn't automatically create change. Goals, habits, repetition, these are the unglamorous engines of transformation.
Practical steps matter more than motivation. Anticipate your weak moments. If evenings are hard, schedule smaller sessions. If Sunday feels like a slump, plan a walk or a short journaling session instead of scrolling aimlessly.
Tiny, clear goals. Not, I'll master English, but I'll write 3 sentences about my day, or I'll listen to a podcast twice this week.
And do them even when it feels small. Consistency in quiet, mundane repetition creates real momentum, even if your brain doesn't notice immediately.
Because the brain loves drama. If progress feels invisible, fear and comparison sneak in. They obscure reality.
That's why looking back matters. Old messages, recordings, journal entries. Your current struggle may be stronger than your success years ago.
That's how you start to see progress, even when it seems invisible day to day. And it keeps you from falling back into complacency.
But what if you feel completely lost? Not just a little behind, but as if life has collapsed.
Then we enter the deep work, hitting rock bottom. That place where nothing makes sense, where everything is heavy, emotional, practical, all at once.
Rock bottom is painful. But positive platitudes won't help. You need real actions, small, messy, intentional steps. That's where true comebacks begin. Let's talk about those steps, John. They're not grand gestures. They're daily, quiet acts that signal, I choose to move forward.
Like sending an email you're scared of, or attending an appointment when your brain says, stay in bed.
Or studying 10 minutes when exhaustion is tempting. Tiny acts, but internally monumental.
And at these moments, real connections show up. Friends who answer 2 a.m. messages, not just those who like Instagram posts. That support is crucial.
Absolutely. And each small action is like laying bricks for your comeback. One by one, the foundation grows stronger, even if invisible.
And there's another layer, purpose. Bigger than goals or daily routines, something that gives your efforts meaning beyond comfort.
Living only for ease and comfort makes you fragile. Every minor setback feels massive, but with purpose, your pain transforms into motivation.
Purpose can be family, students, younger versions of yourself, or people online who need encouragement. Your growth becomes a gift, not just a personal achievement.
And this ties into something many listeners know: ideas trapped in your mind. The graveyard of thoughts, dreams, and plans waiting to be born.
Picture them in a waiting room. Excuse me, is it my turn? Many will never enter the world if we keep postponing action.
But 2026 doesn't have to be another year of waiting. Small, real actions break patterns. Send the CV, join a conversation group, write one page of that book. The idea leaves the waiting room. It exists now.
And that's the essence of a comeback. Quiet, intentional departures from old patterns. Saying, I won't do the same thing again, and actually doing something differently.
Falling is inevitable. You'll stumble, make mistakes, and feel discomfort. But what counts is the direction.
Falling backward returns you to old identities. I failed. I'm useless. Safe life, here I come. That's familiar, but it keeps you small.
Falling forward changes everything. Pain still hits, but it moves you closer to your goals. Every mistake becomes a lesson, not a verdict.
Like practicing English at work. You misstep in conversation. Do you retreat or adjust? Learning comes from forward falls.
Or launching a project. Failure is not shame, it's information. You discover a new way that doesn't work. Next time, you adapt. That's growth.
And when you fall forward repeatedly, transformation begins. Slowly, you rise from the ashes of your old life.
Rise from the ashes, like the mythical phoenix. You burn, you rebuild. You become resilient, confident, and wiser.
Maybe 2025 left behind burned plans, old identities, and painful lessons, but those ashes are fertile soil for the new you.
The new you knows falling is part of life. Plans will fail, and recovery requires patience. You anticipate weak moments, stay consistent, and keep acting even when unseen.
You embrace imperfection, progress over performance, daily effort over dramatic breakthroughs.
And importantly, your comeback doesn't have to be public, flashy, or Instagram worthy. The honesty inside you matters more than the external applause.
That's a big release. You can act, grow, and recover quietly, and that alone creates momentum that eventually transforms your world.
Tonight, maybe sit with a notebook. Ask yourself, where did I drift into comfort I don't want? Where did I hit a low point? What is one action this week that moves me forward?
Answering those questions is powerful. Even one small note today can ripple into weeks of progress. That's the real magic of forward action.
And remember, tiny forward moves compound. One page written, one conversation attempted, one skill practiced. Incremental, yes, but mighty.
And every incremental step builds a resilient mindset. Confidence grows quietly, slowly, yet surely. By the end of 2026, the person you are will look different than the one at the start.
So even if you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or burnt out, the tools are simple. Small actions, purpose, consistency, and the courage to fall forward.
That's the foundation. Rest, reflection, and minor course corrections are not signs of failure. They are part of growth.
And the beauty? You don't need permission. No one approves your comeback. You decide. You act. You rise.
That independence, that self-trust, is the core of resilience. The more you exercise it, the easier the next forward fall becomes.
And slowly, quietly, you reshape your life. Not with fireworks, but with steady, deliberate, courageous steps. Now, John, let's tie all of this together. We've talked about comfort, failure, small actions, falling forward, and purpose. But what about the mindset that keeps it going day after day?
That's consistency. Small, simple habits repeated even when you don't feel like it. The repetition builds confidence quietly and steadily.
And it's not about being perfect. Missed days, mistakes, setbacks, they are just part of the trajectory. Forward momentum doesn't require perfection, only persistence.
And when you persist, you start noticing subtle shifts. English improves, conversations feel easier, relationships deepen. Motivation grows organically because action creates energy, not the other way around.
And it also transforms your perception of failure. Each forward fall teaches you resilience, patience, and clarity. You stop fearing mistakes and start treating them as guides.
That's huge. Fear of failure often traps people in comfort zones. When failure becomes informative instead of judgmental, life opens up.
And that's where purpose amplifies effort. Acting for something beyond yourself, family, students, friends, community, makes struggle meaningful. Hard days feel lighter because they feed more than just your own growth.
Exactly. Purpose also protects against drift. When life feels comfortable, purpose reminds you why you need to act even when inertia tempts you.
And let's not forget reflection. Looking back, noticing tiny victories, acknowledging growth, even small, keeps your brain from forgetting progress. It's invisible, but it's real.
And reflection also prevents comparison traps. Growth becomes measurable to you, not just against others. You see your journey in your own terms.
Which is essential. Social media can make your life look smaller, even when you're moving forward. Reflection anchors you, gives clarity, and fuels motivation.
And finally, we circle back to action. All the strategies, awareness, and purpose mean nothing without doing. You claw, step, write, speak, and move repeatedly.
And each time you do, you reinforce a new identity. A resilient person who acts, learns, adapts, and rises. Not perfectly, not instantly, but authentically.
And your comeback in 2026 doesn't need to match anyone else's. It only needs to honor your growth, your challenges, your courage, and your persistence.
So tonight, reflect. Choose one forward fall action, one thing that moves you a little closer to your goals. Small, honest, and real.
Share it if you want, or keep it private. Either way, momentum starts, one step at a time, one choice at a time.
And remember, your life is not finished. Complacency, comfort, and drift don't define you. Forward falls, purposeful action, and consistency do.
Even if you feel like ashes from the past year, there's life in you yet. Slowly, quietly, you rise, step by step, moment by moment.
Take a breath. You are not too late. You are not behind. Your story continues, and 2026 can be the year you act differently, intentionally, and bravely.
And remember, every small effort today builds a stronger, more capable you tomorrow. One conversation, one sentence, one page, one tiny step can change everything.
That's the heart of a comeback. Quiet, imperfect, real. Rising from the ashes of comfort, fear, and hesitation. Acting forward, again and again.
So start now. Not for perfection, not for applause, not for anyone else, but for yourself. Your future self is waiting, quietly cheering for each small, honest action.
That's our message for today. Step forward, fall forward, rise forward. 2026 is yours to shape, one real choice at a time. If this episode helped you, you can like, subscribe, and maybe send it to one friend who needs a 2026 comeback too.
This is Maria, and this is John, and you have been listening to the Speak Unstoppable podcast. Bye.
Step forward, fall forward, rise forward.